Alright, welcome back to another Art of War 3 replay. I'm your host, JEONG SINAH, and today we're going to be doing a tournament battle. This is the Joker tournament. I'm going to be the blue Confederate player, facing off against a red Resistance player. So a brief summary of how this tournament works. There's going to be containers that spawn around the map, and the first person to collect 33 containers wins the battle. Now, we can see that there's some early game action of unfolding around the battlefield as we fight for these containers. Looks like red is going for an early aggression strategy with low tier units. We see a couple coyotes coming in to scout. I'm going to go ahead and drop a bunker in the middle of my base as a precaution. Two more coyotes coming in from the red player. I'm most likely going to get rushed. I'm heavily suspecting one at this point, considering that there's already so many coyotes on the battlefield. And as I suspected, we see riflemen and coyotes firing onto my barracks just to dish out some early aggression. So I finished constructing my bunker. I'm also going to upgrade my assault vehicle factory to level 2 so I can start to get some hammer tanks out. And as an extra precaution, I'm going to go ahead and drop a rocket tower in the middle of my base as well. This is going to ensure my ability to defend against the rush. It's going to take a lot of units from the red player to take me out if I've got a bunker and a rocket tower. So I'm going to switch to a common production boost so I can get that hammer tank out as fast as possible. If I can get out a couple hammer tanks, they should be good in defending this assault. I've only got a fortress and a assault so far, but I'm dishing out some steady damage so far. These coyotes are continuing to try and take out my assault vehicle factory before I finish the hammer tank. They're not going to be successful though, and I'm going to get my first hammer tank out. I'm going to switch to a common defense boost to keep my buildings alive as much as possible while dishing out damage against the units here. My fortress is doing a great job dealing with those riflemen while these coyotes are getting finished off by my rocket tower and the hammer tank. So right now I'm a little bit slower in the development than I'm accustomed to. I've only got 3 supply centers. We can see red is continuing to aggressively push units onto my base though, so I don't have room to breathe yet in terms of base development. Just trying to take care of these units as much as possible. Red's still trying to continue to reinforce. We see a couple more coyotes there and riflemen. One thing I forgot to mention earlier is that in the Joker tournament, when you capture containers, certain things will occur as things to change up the mechanics of the battle. Sometimes if you capture a container, you'll spawn in extra free units on your side. Sometimes you spawn in enemy units, and sometimes unit bonuses will occur. So this is an example of a unit bonus. So now we can see for the next minute of the battle, armored vehicles are going to be reinforced. And we can see that there's another coyote coming in, a couple more coyotes coming in now. So red's continue to try and push the early game aggression. We can see that these coyotes now are more tanky than usual. But again, my units are also more tanky than usual. We can see a hammer tank fighting out with a coyote, and that hammer tank is taking practically no damage from that coyote. So right now I'm just continuing to try and gain map control on the battlefield here. And we can see that I've got some units that actually spawned in here. I did not move any units there at this time. That was from a container that the red player captured. So I got a hammer tank in pursuit of the coyote, but the coyote is going to be able to escape. Meanwhile, I'm moving more units into the center of the map. I'm trying to use the center of the map as my base for control. We see a mammoth from the red player, so this is possibly indicating that red is HQ3. I don't know yet at this time because it's been a little bit since I've scouted the enemy. I'm teching up to HQ3 at this point. It's kind of stressful to try and fight for control in all the different corners. Red is constantly spamming riflemen and coyotes, and it's really annoying to try and chase them down. So I'm going to go for a different strategy. We can see in that little bar there with the timer that aviation is reinforced on the battlefield for the next few seconds or so. So we can see I've got some units moving here trying to get some map control. We see a dragonfly, a mammoth, some infantry, and a couple coyotes here. I'm going to see if I can try to take care of that mammoth. Meanwhile, I've got a hammer tank here under fire from some armadillos. I'm going to try to get it to regroup with my other units, but I think it is going to get taken out by the red player's units. Looks like I'm barely able to get it to regroup actually, and there goes the hammer tank. I'm going to go ahead and lose it. So I'm able to take care of that mammoth, but I am going to lose both those fortresses. This time I'm still trying to gain map control over the area here. Red is ahead of me in terms of the containers, but it's a pretty close matchup. I'm changing strategies right now though as we speak. We can see that I'm producing more units. I just had a torrent spawn in on the map there. So I've got some units streaming to the center. My plan is to go for a ground army and then make a big push onto red and just take out red's base. Red either has not had a chance to attack up because of the amount of units they're continuing to spam endlessly, or red is way outgunning me in terms of resources and production. So I'm going to go for a full ground army here, and we're going to see if we're going to make a push in a little bit. A couple armadillos there, you can see just spawned in from that resource container. I'm going to go ahead and clean it up with my hammer tanks. I wanted my attack to be a surprise. It looks like red was going to try and surprise attack me as well. Here's some coyotes and armadillos trying to take out my base here. I've got a hammer tank though, and a couple infantry that are going to come into the mix here. That one hammer tank is not going to be enough, but it is going to buy me some time. Looks like all the units are focused on the fire assault, so the fire assault is going to take some hits there for the team. Meanwhile, I'm starting to try to move some more units in, and at the same time, I'm going to go ahead and move my ground army onto the red player. I've got a Typhoon in the mix, and I've got one more Typhoon on the way, just in case there are any Hawks on the battlefield or aviation I need to worry about. At the meantime, I'm directing reinforcements to secure my side of the base there while I move on to the red player. We can see that red's got a couple factories there in sniper towers. Red's attack force here is getting taken out steadily. I've got a gold common defense boost just to boost my army and defend my buildings. And we can see that red is actually only HQ2, but they have quadruple factories, but only 4 supply centers. It's actually not an optimal build. I would actually recommend going 5 supply centers, and then if possible, maybe taking up to HQ3. So we can see that red did in fact go the route of trying to be aggressive with early game units, and I was able to hold off the early game units, and because of that I'm able to out-tech and outgun the red player, and at this point I'm going to be able to finish off the red player. Shortly after this, the red player surrenders, and it's good game. So another way to win the game is if you kill all of your enemy's units, or if your enemy surrenders. So that's good game. Hope you all enjoyed it. We will see you in the next one.
Objective complete. Victory.